Hey guys, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. I know it hasn't been long since my last upload, but I've got important news to talk about and on a more personal level, a channel update to bring you. First, we're going to talk about the news, that's the big stuff, and then for those who care enough, I'm going to go over my absence in the near future and my potential schedule for when I return. So the news, yes, we do have the Picard show to talk about, and that's probably what interests you the most here, but I do have two articles concerning Star Trek Discovery and CBS All Access I wanted to go over first. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes talking about that. Okay, so Business Insider apparently has worked out a deal with Parrot Analytics, and thus they are able to acquire information regarding online streaming services and the most in-demand shows of each week. Frankly, I couldn't care less about what the top 7 shows of each week are, because in the long run, being the most watched show of a certain week in video-on-demand history means nothing to me. But what does interest me is the view count, what they call the demand expressions. In an article released on February 24th, it was stated that Discovery had an average demand expression count of over 23 million. That's huge. Now, to make things clear, though it should be obvious, I'm not being paid by CBS to say this. Nor does Parrot Analytics belong to CBS. It's an external source that collects data on and for various entertainment companies, and I'm just talking about that data. So 23 million. What does this number mean? It doesn't necessarily mean 23 million people are watching Discovery. What it does mean, however, is that for the duration of 1 week, the amount of Star Trek Discovery episodes that were played, be it the most recent episode or an older episode from Season 1, is 23 million. So there's a massive fan base out there. To give you an idea, and again, it's just an idea because, you know, what the numbers mean is ultimately quite different. The Next Generation got an average 10 million viewers per episode. Voyager got 4. The Walking Dead peaked at 17, but is now rolling at around 5. Game of Thrones lived with 7 million people on average until the most recent season blew up, and it got a little over 10. So even if it's not 23 million people watching every new episode of Discovery as it's released, because remember, this number also encompasses rewatches, catch-ups, etc. Even if just half those demand expressions are people tuning in each week to see the new episode, that's still 11 million. And keep in mind, this doesn't count Netflix or Space or Crave. This is only CBS All Access numbers, only in the United States. God. Star Trek Discovery is a success. Moving on to the second article, about a month ago, CBS announced that they had reached their goal of 8 million subscribers combined for their 2 video-on-demand services. And they also clarified that they're looking at a rough 50-50 split, which means CBS All Access itself has reached its 4 million subscriber goal set back in 2017. Comparatively to Netflix numbers, I know this seems like nothing, but it's reaching its own goals, so it would seem that CBS All Access is on its path to success as well. I know there's a portion of the community out there that don't want to accept all this, and they refuse to be pleased by these numbers because, ooh, big bad CBS is evil to them, but that's just stupid. Even if Discovery isn't to your liking, even if that show specifically isn't what you enjoy, its success and the success of the platform on which it's released have a direct impact on the upcoming other Star Trek shows. So Star Trek Discovery being watched and CBS All Access being used means there's more chances you'll get a show that you enjoy, a show that you want. On that note, moving on to the Picard show, the big news, of course, is the casting announcement. Santiago Cabrera and Michelle Hurd are the 2 actors CBS just announced as being series regulars. Cabrera is not an actor I had ever heard of before now, but he's been in a lot of things, a lot of different things, from Salvation to Heroes to Merlin. Hurd apparently garnered attention for her role as Shepard in Blind Spot. I haven't seen that either, but she was the DA in the Marvel Netflix series, mainly Daredevil. So contrarily to Cabrera, I've seen a little of her out there. At this point, I couldn't really comment on their acting skills, so I'll sit tight and see what they're both worth when the show comes out. I'm sure they're fine, don't worry about it. I'll circle back to them in just a bit, but before that, let's go over the character breakdown the HashtagShow.com revealed of all of the main characters. There is quite a lot of information given about each character, and I'm only going to gloss over that, so feel free to click the link in the description to read the full article. It's actually really interesting. Let's go. Sarton, male, early 30s, specializes in positronic brains and is terrified of space. Connie, female, early 30s, dealing with the loss of a husband, avoiding a death sentence on her homeworld, mercenary pilot that transports people to and from an artifact. Lawrence, male, 30s, dodgy moral compass. Dr. Smith, male, 30 to 40s, hologram who helps the crew through emergencies encompassing engineering, tactical, science investigation, and medical issues, programmed to learn but not to become too self-aware. Gaba, male, Romulan, 17 years old, martial artist, prone to mood swings, devoted to Picard, takes his mission extremely seriously. Indira, I don't know. Female, early 20s, smart, physically agile, socially challenged. And finally, Alana, female, mid-40s to mid-50s, brilliant analyst with great memory, but abuses alcohol and drugs, former intelligence officer. Boom! That's the list. I'm sure you all have amazing and interesting theories about what the show is going to be. Please leave comments in the comment section below. I love to read all of your ideas. At this point, all I can speculate is that we're going to get an archaeologist Picard associating with what seems to be a band of misfits or outsiders off on a mission to find some sort of very old, important relic or ruin. Actually, I'd even go as far as saying that maybe what they're looking for has to do with the Romulan Empire, or even the Vulcan people if this story has anything to do with a unification plotline, or simply helping the Romulan Empire getting back on its feet. I'm assuming Picard, even if he's changed, still remains a stand-up guy, morally just, looking to better himself and the worlds around him, so his mission is probably something very noble at heart. As I said before, something about helping the Romulans get back on their feet. That would explain Kabar's behavior as well, how he's loyal to Picard and how he takes his mission extremely seriously. The other characters all seem legit shady in their own ways, and I can only imagine that they're all part of this mission or tie into the story in some way for personal reasons. Most of them probably wouldn't care about the political landscape of the Quadrant, but rather they're in it for the profit, or fame, I don't know. Personal gain in any case. The whole thing reminds me of the two-part episode Gambit from The Next Generation, and also The Chase, actually. Gambit features a Picard posing as a shady archaeologist working undercover with a band of miscreants, and The Chase was all about multiple species from all around the galaxy following hidden clues, ultimately leading them to something huge, explaining why most of the races in Star Trek are humanoid and resemble each other so much. Santiago Cabrera is currently 40 years old, and honestly, he could pull off someone in his 30s on the show, especially with the makeup and everything, but if we were to follow the character descriptions as best we can, I'd have to say the guy is gonna be Dr. Smith, simply because he's supposed to be in his 30s or 40s. But then again, I mean, he could be Lawrence, the handsome man with a dodgy moral compass. I could see him as both, honestly. Michelle Hurd is 52, so even if ethnicity-wise she could fit the description of Connie, I'm betting she's Alana. What do you guys think about the casting, about the characters? I'm super hyped for all this, honestly. The more I hear about it, the more I'm intrigued. Alright, we now move on to the channel update part of the video. Believe me, it'll be quick, but I do have to talk about it. It is important. Next week, I'm off to New Zealand for a 5-week family vacation. Wife on the tube, baby on the tube, and I, not Bob, just the three of us, no Bob, are gonna take a well-deserved break, and so I won't be able to upload my Discovery reviews on a weekly basis like I've been doing so far. To be honest, it's not just the reviews. I won't be able to release anything while I'm away, so the channel will become somewhat inactive for, I'd say, about the next 6 weeks. When I get back, I'll be sure to catch up on all of the Discovery reviews I missed, and the news if there is any. In the meantime, feel free to watch everything else that's on my channel, and if you're on Twitter, follow me. Because I'll still find a way to watch the episodes, and I'll be sure to drop some short opinions there. Not full-blown reviews, of course, but maybe I might do 10-second reaction videos, I don't know. If I have time, you'll get the episode 8 review this week, no worries, but only if I have time, so no promises. I'm not going to make it shorter or incomplete just to get it out quick. That's not how I proceed. I'd rather, get it done right and release it after, but I'll try to get it out this week. Alright, that's it. Both of us parents are pretty stressed out because we're traveling all the way across the world with a baby that's only 6 months old. My apologies to anyone who's going to be on that plane with us. God. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And as usual, live long and prosper.